In the compact sedan world, the Kia Forte has always been a sensible and stylish choice when you were looking for an affordable commuter car. Now for 2025, it looks like for the replacement, Kia is looking to bring the new model up market with the introduction of this vehicle. This is the 2025 Kia K4. It's an all-new compact sedan that essentially takes a lot of the technology and styling elements from their latest crop of EVs. So now that we're finally seeing the new K4 in person, let's go ahead and take a first look. So we first saw the all-new Kia K4 back at the New York Auto Show about 4 months ago. And as you can see, this time we're still not driving the K4. We'll be doing that sometime later this year. But Kia did offer us some extra time with the K4 here in the studio. So we thought we'd show you guys a little bit new and more, just announced details of this premium compact sedan. Now, before we talk about the exterior styling, let's go ahead and pop the hood here and show you guys what's powering this thing. Now, I couldn't actually open up the hood when we were at the auto show, so this is a nice little change. And as you can see, underneath the hood of this model, this is the GT Turbo model, which is the more sport-oriented version. It has a unique powertrain that all the other Fortes don't get, or I'm sorry, K4s don't get. This is the company's 1.6-liter gasoline direct injection turbocharged engine. It now has been improved emission-wise to be an SULEV vehicle, which means the horsepower did go down slightly. It still makes 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Kia also is targeting the same, if not improved fuel efficiency. They don't have final fuel economy numbers just yet, but the old model got around 30 mpg combined. The difference, of course, as well with this new engine, or this engine, is it now has an 8-speed automatic transmission that's replacing the old 7-speed dual clutch transmission. If you guys go for the lower trim versions of the K4, you'll have a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder making around 147 horsepower. That's connected to a CVT. If you guys also remember, the old Forte offered a 6-speed manual. The new K4 does not, and that's because Kia says the take rate on the manual was like less than 10%, so it makes sense, or less than 2%, so it makes sense for them to only offer it with the 8-speed automatic. Now, sadly, all models are only front-wheel drive. Kia does not offer a hybrid or an all-wheel drive version, but this powertrain should be, plenty of power for most people, and we should be driving this car again sometime later this year. But let's go ahead and close up this hood here and talk about the exterior styling of the new K4. As you guys can see, it's a very stylish and upscale looking sedan. Kia will launch this vehicle in 5 different trims, starting at the base LXS, going up to this fully loaded GT Turbo trim. You can see the front end adopts some of the new styling language that we've seen from vehicles like the Kia EV9. You can see it has a wider and more aggressive version of the Tiger Nose grille. It has these new full LED headlights with the amber illuminated daytime running light and turn signal. The LED headlights on this particular trim are a premium design with like a cube-like look to the actual headlight modules. You also have an actual LED fog light that's built into the center of the headlight. The fog lights are on now, so it's not a separate housing, but there are fog lights on this vehicle. The GT lines will also include a more aggressive front fascia, and this exterior color is actually called a Morning Mist. It is a new color this year, or I'm sorry, Morning Haze. It's a new color this year, and it looks really good, of course, with the black accents and the new Kia logo. Overall, this car is really giving me kind of like Kia Stinger and Kia K5 vibes, which is their bigger vehicles, of course, although the Stinger was discontinued a couple of years ago. As you can see, moving around the side profile, Kia will actually offer this vehicle in 2 different body styles here in America. There'll be the 4-door sedan, like the model that we're showing you here. And then, of course, there also will be a 5-door hatchback version of the K4. Sadly, we don't have the hatchback here to show you just yet, but Kia says that model will be about a year behind, or a year after this vehicle actually launching later this year. In terms of the dimensions, this car is longer. In fact, Kia says that this has the biggest footprint that you're going to find in the compact segment at 185.4 inches long. It's almost 3 inches longer than the old Forte. Its wheelbase is around an inch longer at 107.4 inches long. So it's, again, got a big footprint, but it's also about the same size as its sister vehicle, the Hyundai Elantra, which again was already on the bigger end. Now, in terms of the wheels, you can see these are the exclusive wheels that you get with the GT Turbo. In fact, they are a different wheel versus what I showed you guys at the auto show earlier this year. You can see it's an all gloss black design with a multiple spoke finish. It's an 18-inch wheel riding on a 235 by 40 R18 tire. You can see it's got all disc brakes. And on the Turbo model, you'll have an all independent suspension. So you'll have an independent front and a multi-link at the back. They certainly look good with this greenish, grayish exterior color with the kind of gloss black that you see around the window trim. And it really gives this car, again, a much more sleeker and sportier silhouette. I also love the fact that you can get a Pano-style sunroof. Kia calls it a wide sunroof, along with the black mirror housing. And then this area here, you can see, tries to make this car look a lot more like a liftback or a coupe because of the way they kind of hide the door handles back there. And then if you guys follow me over to the back of the vehicle here, you're going to find a lot of new styling elements with this car, where it has kind of like the new design for the LED taillights. It almost kind of, again, reminds me a lot of something like the Kia EV9. In fact, this trim here is going to have upgraded lighting throughout the vehicle, but I think this styling element here just really gives it a more premium vibe. It looks like something like a replacement for the Kia Stinger, as opposed to something replacing like the Kia Forte. Now you can see the GT lines include a more aggressive rear fascia. There's also the special GT line badging. There's also cameras and parking sensors around the car. In fact, in the compact world, you don't typically find full 360 cameras, so it's kind of nice that Kia is including it, especially if you guys go for this trim. Remember, this is the GT line turbo with the technology package, which is an optional extra. Now, opening up the trunk, it looks like a liftback, but it's just a standard trunk. You can see it's got hinges that will crush your cargo, but it's got a very large opening, which is really nice. Kia says that you have around 14.7 cubic feet of cargo space, which is actually among the bigger in the industry, although it is a little bit smaller than the old Fortes. The seats do fold down in a 60/40 manner, which again is great for versatility. And you can see underneath the floor here, you do have a temporary spare tire, so you don't have to deal with a fix-a-flat kit. Now, in the interior of the new K4, that premium vibe on the outside is also carried over into the interior, especially if you guys spend the money to go for the upper GT line trims. Now, first of all, these seats, as you can see, these are the company's Syntex fake leather material. It's a synthetic leather. It also has a really modern black and white two-tone color scheme, which looks really fantastic, of course, with the newly designed seats. The seats are also heated and ventilated. The ventilation portion comes with the technology package. It also, for a fake leather material, it actually feels really plush. The padding is also nice and soft. You also have an 8-way power driver's seat over here on the driver's side with a 2-way lumbar support. You also get 2-person memory. Here on the passenger side, however, as you can see, it is just a manual seat. That's a reminder kind of that it is, a compact car. It's not like a premium luxury car, although it kind of gives you those vibes. As I get in and shut the door has a nice solid sounding thunk. And then here's the key fob for the vehicle. You can see it's an updated version of the company's detonator style smart entry key system, where you have the buttons on the side for lock, unlock, panic, open up the trunk. Remote start is on the other side over here. It's a nice looking key fob. And then when you want to turn the vehicle on, we're inside a studio, so I'm not going to actually turn the vehicle on entirely, but we'll go ahead and we'll turn on the electronic. It's not something that I could do when I was on the auto show floor. Now you can hear the chime is the standard Kia chime, although the initial startup chime sounded a little bit different to me. But as you can see, this particular trim just has a really upscale vibe to it. First of all, I love the new steering wheel. This is a unique steering wheel on the GT lines, where it's a 3-spoke design, but it also has a flat bottom and a flat top design with a 2-tone look to it, to the airbag cover, to this portion of the wheel. It definitely looks like it belongs in a much more expensive vehicle. You also have paddles on the wheel, traditional buttons here to control your adaptive cruise control and the infotainment system. In the instrument panel, the door panels, as you can see here, have a slightly padded soft touch injection molded plastic with a nice rubberized material to it. Like I said earlier, there's buttons for your heated and cooled seats, a nice metal accented door handle, padded over here and over here where you'd rest your elbows, of course. The window controls, one touch automatic for the front, however, not for the rear. The rears are not one touch, but you do have, of course, power windows, power mirrors. There's a little bit more storage down here. And then if you guys are an audiophile, this trim also comes with the Harman Kardon Premium Audio System, which is, included when you guys go for the technology package. Kia typically does a really good sound system, so I highly recommend going for that option if you guys prefer that. Now, in terms of the dashboard, you can see the dash has that same kind of soft, slightly padded soft touch injection molded plastic on the dash here. You have this kind of texturized dark carbon fiber aluminum look trim, although that's definitely a fake material, but it looks really nice with the kind of glossy gray plastic. And then over here, you can see Kia definitely is, stepping up their game in terms of the screens. If you guys remember the base Forte that had an 8-inch display on the lower trims, every version of the K4 will now have the big 12.4-inch display. So this display here is running their newest CNCC connected services infotainment software, which means you finally also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The GT lines also come standard with built-in embedded GPS, which is a great function. You have a 5-inch display here that allows you to control the climate control functions like that. And then you can see the upper trims will include a fully digital 12.3-inch cluster. The base trims, of course, will have a 4.5-inch display in the middle with kind of an analog style cluster display. This, to me, looks like it was pulled directly from the Kia EV9, which is not a bad place to spend time, because if you're looking at competitors like the Corolla and the Civic, those models have an 8 or 9-inch display, whereas Kia gives you a massive 12.3-inch display on every trim, including the base trim. So that's a great feature if you guys are into technology. You can see the software behind it is quick, it's snappy, it's got new graphics to it. It finally has wireless CarPlay, like I said. So I'll have to wait to show you guys how that works whenever we had one to actually test. I also love the fact that Kia decided to keep traditional buttons. So you have a volume knob here where it's actually a scrolly metal wheel, which feels nice. You have actual hard buttons here to reach your shortcuts. You have dual zone climate control, traditional air vents, and then down here you can see you have a wireless phone charging pad. My iPhone 14 Pro Max fits perfectly there. There's 2 USB charging ports. There's an actual 12-volt power outlet there. And then your start stop button is located down here. It goes nicely, of course, with that traditional style shifter. There's a full 360 camera on the vehicle. As you can see here, this car, you can kind of pull up a full 360 perimeter scan. This kind of technology typically is not in the mainstream compact segment. So it's great to see Kia is kind of including some of the great tech features from their bigger, more expensive cars into a smaller vehicle like this K4. The center console also has kind of something similar to the EV9 where you have these cup holders that have these adjustable little pop out clips in here where you can basically make them go away, create a bigger cup holder or create storage. Push that, you can see you can put your smaller cups in there, so that's very versatile. I also love the fact that Kia didn't put any annoying piano black plastic here. Instead of it's a flat plastic design, so it doesn't have any like smudges and scratches on it. Padded center console here. If I open this up, you can see it's a decent size, but there's no power outlet or USB storage. It's basically just used for a console. Above me here, you can see this trim also includes the wide style panoramic sunroof, although it looks more like a panel on the outside, but as you can see on the inside, the opening is pretty similar to a standard sunroof. Now, obviously it would be nice if it was a full panel, but it is still better versus what you're gonna find in like the Civic and in the Corolla, of course. The glove compartment, you can see, open that up, it's stamped, it's a bin style, it's not lined with felt, but it is a pretty big size. So for a compact sedan, this actually has a ton of storage options. It has really good materials. It also has really comfortable seats too, and also has a open and airy feel to it, which again is not something that you typically find in this segment, especially if you're looking at like a Corolla, which just tends to feel a little bit cramped on the inside. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area. I want to show you guys the space back here. Because this car is so big on the outside, Kia is touting that it has best-in-class rear seat legroom, and at around 38 inches of rear seat legroom, this is definitely among the best in the segment. Now, I'm 5'7". This is pretty much where I'd have the seat to drive. Looking over here at the floor area, you can see there is still a hump, so the middle passenger has to kind of navigate through that, but this has about 2.5 more inches of legroom versus the old Forte, so that's a nice improvement. You can see there's also rear seat air vents here. You have 2 USB charging ports, a little open area here. No heated rear seats. I wasn't really expecting to find that, but you can find that in some competitors. You can see back here, however, the materials are downgraded slightly to this hard touch plastic area, but it is padded where you would rest your elbow here, which is nice in terms of the armrest here in the center. You can see this folds down to gives you 2 cup holders, and the headroom space, you can see that sunroof does take a little bit of space, but for somebody my height, this is definitely a pretty comfortable place to spend time. So again, if you're looking for a compact car that offers mid-size levels of space in the back seat, you definitely need to put this one at the top of your list. So even though most of the new car market is always SUV crazy, it's always really nice for me whenever I get to show you guys a brand new car. So after finally spending a little more time in the studio with the all-new Kia K4, I have to say Kia has really pulled out a lot of the stops here for their newest generation of mainstream compact cars. It really has the look of something like the discontinued Kia Stinger mixed in with the midsize Kia K5. I love the fact that they made this car larger, they gave it a sportier silhouette, and I'm also super excited about the hatchback variant, which I'm hoping to eventually see one in person sometime soon. Kia says that the hatchback will be about almost a year behind compared to the sedan. So if you're looking to get your hands on the sedan version of this car, it'll be at your local Kia dealerships by the end of this year. I should be driving it also sometime, hopefully in December as well. And of course, because we are still a little bit early in the game, we don't have final pricing just yet of this 2025 Kia K4. But of course, we can speculate because the regular Kia Forte, or the old Kia Forte, it starts at just under $20,000, going up to around $28,000 for the fully loaded GT Turbo version of the car. Now, obviously, I expect this new one to be more expensive, so I'm going to estimate this car will probably start in the low $20,000 range, maybe go up to around $30,000. Even at that price category, this is still one of the most affordable vehicles in North America that's brand new, because remember, the Kia Rio, the base car, or their entry-level cheapest car, has been discontinued for a few years, so this is going to be the most affordable way essentially to get into a new Kia, although the Kia Soul may also be kind of that path as well. But regardless, this car, or at least the old Forte, has always been one of the top sellers for Kia. The company sold around 124,000 Fortes in the US last year, so I wouldn't be surprised when this new Kia K4 comes out that they'll probably get even closer to that 200,000 unit numbers, because again, Even though everybody is SUV crazy, offering an affordable, efficient, and stylish compact sedan like this, I think is something that a lot of Americans are looking for, especially when you need a commuter car that isn't going to break the bank. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2025 Kia K4 GT Line Turbo. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.